Hello, this is Chukes, and you're here in my studio today featuring work from my latest collection titled Identity Theft. Identity Theft is a creation of work featuring more than 65 works of art, including paintings and sculpture. Stay tuned as we go through the work in detail in each episode. This piece is titled Father Time. And once again, this is another one of my clay ceramic pieces. There are a few different types of clay in this. You really can't see because there is a patina over this piece. It's representative of to show the progress of time. Well, you know, it's funny because, you know, there wasn't. Well, there's two ways to say this. The reason this piece is titled Father Time and what is written in the Identity Theft book is, it took me 2 days to create this piece, but it took me 40 years to get there. So I remember creating this piece. Now, this is another piece that was not original when I started the body of work for Identity Theft. This piece is about 12 or 13 years old. So it was made, you know, long before or prior to the inception of the majority of the work for Identity Theft. But I remember, this is the beautiful thing about creating art. It takes you back to the day that you made something. I mean, I can remember it was a beautiful sunshiny day. I mean, it's probably like close to triple digits out in my studio, and I was working outside at that particular time because I like being in the sun. And I had a bucket of clay. I didn't have it out of the bags. I was just using my scrap clay. And so I just started, didn't know what I was going to do, but I just started creating and sculpting this piece together. And I remember explicitly that I used a fork and a piece of wood, and I was tapping on the wood and then scraping it with the fork, so you see all of these lines and whatnot. And I said, there's something about age in this work. And I just kept on working on it. And so I had the majority of it done within a day, and then I came out the next day and did the finishing parts of it. And I stood back and I looked at it, I said, this piece is done. I said, it's finished. And I said, wow, it's amazing what you can do in time. And I said, it's Father Time. And I said, you know, and I remember my friend came over, he says, he was there, and he's like, man, he's like, weren't you just working on this piece yesterday? I said, yeah. I said, he's like, it's finished. I said, yeah, man. And so we were talking about it. He says, he's like, I can't believe how fast you work. I said, bro, you were with me when I started this journey, because I've been knowing this cat man for a long, long time. I said, you saw the inception of this work, you know, back in the 80s when I was, you know, stepping out as a very young artist and trying to build my repertoire. And you've seen how the progression of time and what I can do in that time. He says, well, man, you've come a long ways, man. I said, yeah, from 40 years to 2 days. That's a long time, man, you know. But that's, to me, there's a lesson in all of that, you know, because for me, and the reason why this is so important for Identity Theft is that time, that process of time. So in today's generation, they only see the 2 days because they press the button and boom, it's there. It doesn't take any time. It's like super fast. They don't see the 40 years. So when they can't do something in those 2 days and it doesn't look like, wow, this doesn't look like, you know, how come I can't do that in 2 days? I mean, it only took this cat 2 days to do this. I'm like, no, it took me 40 years to get to those 2 days. So it's very important for people to understand the identity of how things are built, how things are created, and where your mind has to be. You know, you have to discipline yourself. You have to learn and train yourself. It takes a long time for that to happen. It's like those 40 years. I mean, everything in Identity Theft, from not just creating the work, but just understanding and building up the knowledge that you have to have and confidence and discipline and love and passion. Those are the things, those is like you put all of that in that melting pot or whatever, you know, and then you eat from that. You eat that information, and it just, you know, it builds you, it gives you what you need to, you know, to come up with these things. I mean, I have to take my mind into a whole different realm when I'm thinking like this. You know, I have to, it's almost like an out of body experience. So Father Time is just, I think it personifies what this work is about, because it lets people know that I am interested in what happens with time, and not also with time with my legacy. It's like, this is what I leave to you, my audience, all my ancestors, when I'm no longer here. This becomes my voice. This is how I want to be represented as an artist, by what I created and what I gave back to the world. Yes, I can create this body of work, but it's very important for me to be able to speak to you about it, to write about it, to have some type of visual form in book form or whatever type of other form, other than, because not everybody's going to be able to come see this work, but it's very important for people to know that it existed and hear the words more or less. And this is the most important thing, that you know that these words came from the artist Chukes. Not some other supposed historian or critic wrote about this, because that has been the downfall for many black artists, is that we have not documented and written and done the footwork as far as preserving who we are as artists and as human beings. Somebody else writes that. And if you're, you know, if you're tremendously talented, that's almost like it's a waste to have that gift and that skill, and you didn't document that. So and in today's age, there's no excuse for that. Document your work. And that's what identity theft is about. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more episodes from the Identity Theft Collection.